I think it's important to acknowledge that I still struggle with FOMO, and all the things that I struggled with before my recovery. Hi guys, so today's video is about my struggle with FOMO and the tools that I've learned to combat them. I think it's important to acknowledge that I still struggle with FOMO, and all the things that I struggled with before my recovery, I still struggle with. It's just I've learned new tools to combat them when they flare up. I think the root of my struggle with FOMO is from when I was a kid, and when I was excluded from a lot of things. My desire to fit in and have a group was really, really strong, and I acknowledge that. But today I want to talk about FOMO from the context of my 20s. When I first started going to the church that I go to, my church, I became really close with this girl. I'm not going to use names because that's not what this story is about. It's not really relevant to the story. It's more the events. I've made amends with this girl and it's totally fine. So I'm not sitting here, talking trash. But her and I got really close. The relationship got really codependent and I needed that friendship. So I chose to kind of, I guess, ignore those signs of codependency. Everything came to a head and I decided to start my recovery. During this time, her and I had a sort of a falling out. It wasn't anything dramatic or like crazy or anything like that. It was just, I basically decided, one of the biggest things, if you guys watch my videos, know that one of the biggest reasons I decided to go through recovery is because of my codependency. And not just with this friend, but with a lot of people in my life, with my mom, with family members, with anybody that even got the slightest bit close to me. So we kind of decided that we should take a step back in our friendship, and because we both recognize, now I know that what we recognize, because we both recognize that it kind of became an unhealthy friendship. Now I recognize it as codependency. But basically we started our friendship became really unhealthy and we took a step back. During this time, she got closer, I think, to this group of girls, and which is really cool, but I started getting really jealous of that group. And I basically felt like I made it my life's mission to be a part of this group. And I didn't even really think about if I had anything in common with them. I just wanted to be close to this. I just wanted to be in this friendship group because the girl that I was close to is in this group. And I had started to miss her, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But basically, you guys know this. If you struggle with FOMO, I think most people struggle with FOMO, but if you struggle a lot with FOMO like I do, Instagram stories, social media is your biggest enemy. So if you're trying to work on FOMO, I think the first thing you should do is either do a social media cleanse while you're starting the first stages of your recovery, or just unfollow, or not unfollow, but like mute people, at least on Instagram, mute people who trigger you. So basically, I saw an Instagram story from the girl that I was really close to, and it was some sort of event. Don't really remember what it is. It's not really important. And I got so upset. No, I struggle with anger and sadness. But anyway, I got really upset, whether that's sadness or anger. And I proceeded to message her, and I was like, how come I wasn't invited? Like, I feel so betrayed, like super dramatic. And she replied with, well, I didn't do the inviting, which looking back now is valid. And, I was being irrational. And I didn't care that she didn't do the inviting. All I felt was that betrayal. And my FOMO was flaring up. It was intense. So then that is the one event that sticks out to me the most. where I feel like my FOMO was in its full, flared glory. It was bad. So then other things happened, and then slowly as I progressed in my recovery, I started to see things about myself and wanting to be in this friendship group that really helped me interpret the entire situation, help me dissect it, and basically help me realize that why I really wanted to be in this friendship group. And so I'm going to break it down here. First of all, I dissected the friendship. I was like, do you really have anything in common with these girls? Like, do you think the same things are funny? Do you like doing the same things? And I started going back in my mind and thinking all the times that I was hanging out with this group of girls. And I realized that no, I don't have that much in common with them. Like, we have being Christians in common. We love God. Those are two very strong things that we do have in common. But like, I was laughing at things just because I didn't want to be the only one not laughing. And I was hanging out with them just because I wanted to be a part of this group. And nothing against these women. Like, they're a great group of girls. It's just, I wasn't one of them. I didn't feel like I was, like, even when I was hanging out with them, I still felt like I was on the outside. And I struggled for so long trying to figure out, like, why? You're in this group, you're invited, they want you there. And I realized that it had nothing to do with them. It has all to do with myself and how I was just my FOMO was telling me that I need to be a part of that group. The second thing is, I realized that for so many years, I have been suppressing who I really am. Iris's true personality has been suppressed for many, many years. And I think now in my late 20s, I'm just figuring out and trying to get to know myself and figure out that, you know what, my weirdness is so fun. And there's going to be people in my life that come into my life because I chose not to, I don't want to say settle. I chose not to just be in a group to be in a group. And I think that's what God has done for me. I've met some really cool people, and you guys know who you are if you're watching this, that have really become my chosen family. And if you're somebody who struggles with that, like, for me, I've always wanted my family to be a certain way. The way that I see the family of my friends, or these like fictional families on TV or movies. Like, why would I feel like a real family, non-scripted family, can compare to a family that's been written by award-winning actors, people who have sat down and had the ability to dissect every situation? Why do I have those expectations of my family? So I'm really proud of myself, because I think relationships, platonic or romantic, fall under some of the same expectations. But I got to a point where I was like, this is not what I want in my life. And I chose to have faith and let it go. And I truly believe that God has rewarded me, and put people in my life that are like my chosen family. And that girl I was talking to, we have a different friendship now. We've talked everything through, and it's really good. And I think our friendship is way healthier now. And we have a different kind of friendship. It's not going to be the same as it was before my recovery. But to me, I think it's actually better. And that's something that you really have to, whether you believe in God or not, just believe in yourself and know what you deserve. And if you're in a friendship or a relationship that makes you feel less than what you deserve, then have the courage to go, no, I'm not going to sit here and take this. I'm going to be alone for a time. And that time is extremely valuable, because if you don't know yourself, how do you know what kind of platonic or romantic relationship you deserve if you don't know yourself yet? So I think there is a lot of value in being alone and knowing the difference between that and lonely, getting to know yourself and spending alone time to decompress and regroup. I think even extroverts need that me time. And I think as I get older, I'm learning how invaluable that me time really is. And for me, another part of this FOMO is ministry life. If you're somebody who is really involved in your church, involved in a lot of ministries, I think it's amazing, because God says that that's one of the best ways for us to serve him, is to do his work and to pour into other people. But like anything else in life, it's important to have balance. And if you are involved in too many ministries and you're feeling burnout, an empty cup can't pour into anyone. And that's what one of my stepsisters reiterated the other night, and thank you so much for that, them. If you don't step down, God's not going to have the opportunity for somebody else to step up. So also have the courage to evaluate the ministries in your life. I had to do that recently. I had to step back from a ministry that has been a part of my spiritual journey since I came back to church. So again, that's another part of faith that we really need to have in God, and make sure that you are having your time every single day with God, and just have you time. And don't be afraid to not have something going on, because maybe that's exactly what you need in your life in that moment, is some free time. Also, in learning to enjoy free time is really important too. I'm not good at that, but this summer was really, really a tie game. I made sure that I had a lot of free time to learn how to be patient, learn to have nothing to do, and it was really, really awesome. Looking back, comment below, let me know how you struggle with FOMO, some tips that you have to cope with it. And yeah, I hope you all have a really successful week, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.